Hello, and welcome back to Salty Sunshine Salty Book Club. Hi, Bri.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We're finally getting around to reviewing The Wedding People. Sorry for the delay, but it was such a good book. I give it, I gave it 4 stars, but I'm going to change it to like 4.5.
I honestly love this book, and I don't think I've liked a book like this in a while, and I give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay, I'm close. I don't know why I won't get to the 5. What's my problem? It's probably a 5 for me too. I don't know. I feel like
Well,
a 5 has to be like ridiculously. I don't know what I'm thinking.
right.
It's just like the highest ones.
Yeah, but I don't know, this book was great
I
for
think I gave
me.
another book a 5. Do you remember what it was? Which book it
I,
was?
I don't.
All right, well, out of all our books, this is your favorite?
It is my favorite. It's just the way it was written, the plot, the way she like goes to off herself, but it's still like lighthearted, but then it's also like super deep messages at some points, and it's just a really good book.
No, it was so good. I'm going to read off some of my favorite quotes. I love quotes in a book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever noticed them, but I'm like, I love that. So the top quotes for me, the first one, how easy to be dead, how lucky to be alive, even for just one day. Thought that was cool. The second one, do you start all over again? Do you fixate on the new thing that you are sure is going to make you happy? How many times does a person do this over a lifetime? Is that just what life is?
Boom. See, deep.
Isn't that like, it's so true. It's like all we do is like get hyped up for something, be scared that we're going to lose it, and like fixate over it over and over and over.
Yep. That's why it's so hard for people to be truly present.
No, it's such a mind F.
It is. We hope for something and hope, and then we get it, and then it's gone. It's fleeting.
And how many times does a person do this? It's like a lot. That's how
Mm-hmm.
many. A lot. And the third one I loved is love is visible. It paints the air between two people a different color and everyone can see it. I'm like, what? Isn't that an amazing quote?
It is. I mean, it's true. Like someone's aura or like a couple's aura.
It's so true. They just
Mm-hmm.
share a different color than what's around them. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the wedding people, Phoebe and Matt are uh the main couple at the beginning of the book, and then they have their marriage issues. So do you think that her Phoebe and Matt's marriage was ruined because she couldn't get pregnant, or do you think they just weren't a match?
I think just like anyone else's marriage, it definitely takes a toll on people when they can't have a kid and they go through all of that. But also, it does say like she was too strict on herself and her life and too like he was clearly wanting more out of life and their dates and just more spontaneity. And she just wasn't like that. And it took the divorce for her to get there.
Also, she was fixated on getting pregnant and wouldn't give it up and went into the savings that she did, and he didn't want to keep trying, and she was like obsessed with it and she wouldn't let it go.
Right.
And so I think, yeah, I think they were crossroads and they just like went down different paths. And then so he goes and has an affair, so typical, with
Mm-hmm.
a coworker named Mia. And Phoebe notices that him and Mia talk to each other all lovey at a company thing and they end up in an affair. So I was so infuriated when the way she handled seeing Mia at school, at work. She was so nice to her.
I know. She was like too nice to her and like too almost scared of her when Mia's in the wrong.
Yeah, I was like, speak up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so they get divorced and it was
But
just,
that's also, sorry, that's also like who she is and what she had to overcome throughout the book. Is she like never speaks her mind? She's a little mousy. Like she just doesn't ask for what she wants. She doesn't say how she's feeling.
yeah, so she stays in the house that they lived in. He moved out, goes with Mia, has a baby. I don't know if they got married. I think they might have got married. Had a baby. And so she stays with their cat that they treated like their child. And then it was so sad the way the cat like passed away and she left it there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that drove me crazy. So she's going on this trip because apparently every time they were going to do a little vacation, he forced her to go to like family stuff at a lake or something that was torture for her. And she always wanted to go to this really cute five-star hotel that he would never want to go. So now that they're divorced and she's depressed, she's like, I'm leaving with just a shirt off my back to this hotel. And how shocked were you when you found out what her plan was? I was like, what?
What? Oh, like to off herself?
To unalive herself.
Right.
I was shocked. Like, I wasn't
Well,
expecting
because
that.
she's so like nonchalant about it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like she came to peace with it, I guess.
Yeah, it was very interesting the way it was shocking. Like I wasn't expecting it. So she goes to this hotel with just her dress, spends the money that she had saved on this nice place just to like end it all because she was so depressed. And when she gets there, the whole hotel is reserved for a wedding. And she's the only guest that's not there for that. And she meets this like really rude, pretentious, rich bitch named Lila or Leela. I don't know. I guess Lila in the elevator and they kind of have words and it was just I loved how they met and I loved like their interaction in the elevator was so like she was just so nonchalant about it, very matter of fact. And the girl thought
Right,
she
and
was
all about herself, which is really funny.
and the girl thought she was lying. She's like, "You're gonna what? Like you can't do that. You're gonna ruin my wedding."
Well, yeah, like she like didn't even care if she did it. She was just like, "You can't ruin my wedding."
But it was funny because I loved how like frank she was about it because at that point she didn't care. She's like, it doesn't matter now at this point. And so the girl ends up there and their little friendship was super it was super interesting. Like I really related to this book because I feel it's like super realistic. That can totally happen to anybody.
Right,
And
and I love how they're so different, and they probably would have never become friends if they like met each other in this similar like friend group circle, or just like in a different way. But the fact that they met this way, like again, they're so different, but like they somehow go really well together as
they
friends.
would have absolutely and never got along or talked to each other or anything ever, ever. Like that's why the
Hmm.
book is so good because the turn of events that happen are so realistic, but yet it would have never happened any other way. Like it's so interesting how people can connect from completely different walks of life only because of like the circumstance they're in. And so yeah, so I thought, she was gonna unalive herself and then she gets a better hotel room than the other one, which was funny, than the bride. And then she goes and she overdoses and she does what she was gonna do, but then she wakes up to the sound of like someone singing from the wedding party downstairs and she like right in that moment decides she doesn't want to do it anymore and makes herself throw up.
Right. Why did she decide that?
It's like it clicked in her and like she's like, "Wait, it's happening right now." And like I don't know, she just changed her mind.
Right, I guess. Oh, it was because she said like she needed to find out what was gonna happen this weekend.
Is that what she said?
No, I remember like she took the pill and then she was watching the wedding people and then she was like, I wonder how this is gonna turn out with her mom. And then how that like I think she saw a couple people that Lila had complained about before and she said something like she needs to know what happens.
Yeah, so she just kind of like woke up and said, "Forget this." And that started the whole interaction now. She becomes like super close to the bride. But so that night she goes downstairs or the next morning. Was it that night that she goes downstairs and meets the groom?
Yeah, she has like this new love for life because she didn't die. And she goes in the hot tub and meets the groom that she doesn't know is the groom.
Which is yeah, which is crazy because they had such chemistry and of course he's taken with someone that she's like supposed to like now be friends with and I just loved how after she found out that he was the groom, I like how there was no shadiness between them. I like how He wasn't flirting with her anymore. She wasn't
Hmm.
being a bitch behind the girl's back as they got closer. And I kind of like that respect level. Like it wasn't like a typical let's be sleazy behind everyone's back. Like it was I liked it. Like I liked the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. It made it like not icky.
Yeah, it was not icky whatsoever. There was respect, but obviously there were still some intrigue silently, but whatever. What can you do about that? Um yeah, Lila was such a character. Her poor mom. I felt so bad for her mom.
I think it's just because you're a mom.
No, because it's like she didn't really do anything terrible in the book.
Right.
She was just being
Uh,
rude to her for no reason.
I guess, yeah. I can't really remember why she had like a hatred for her mom
Well, because she drank
or
all
like an
day.
annoyance.
She drank a lot, but she wasn't like a drunk, but she was always drinking.
And I think she just like said inappropriate things.
She was a daddy's girl, that's why. So when her dad died, she kind of like tossed her mom to the side, but it was funny. So they go on. This girl becomes a Phoebe becomes Lila's uh, maid of honor because her maid of honor backed out or got sick, and they become closer and closer. She becomes involved in the wedding, um, and meets all her family, gets all in there. And long story short, Jim, which is okay, so Gary's the groom, and Gary had an ex-wife that died, and he has a daughter. And then the ex-wife's brother's name is Jim, which is his brother-in-law. And Jim is the one that's in love with Lila.
Right. We find out later that he's the one that wanted to go to the art gallery where Gary and the groom and the bride met, and he was the one who was supposed to talk to the bride. But
He was the one that hit on her. He was the one that like set it all up, and then he never mentioned it. So when Gary saw her and hit on her, he had no idea that Jim liked her. So that was interesting because she acted like she hated him, and at the end of the day, they were super into each other. Um,
right, isn't that crazy? They're about to get married, but they actually are in love with each other and they have no idea.
that happens like so much more than we think. People like
Probably.
people are even with relationships when you think about it or dating. Like you're like, "Oh, I'm not going to say that. I'm too embarrassed for this. Just let it go." And you walk away and it's like you could have had a whole nother path if you would have been brave enough to whatever, be honest
Right, if Jim would have just asked her out like a day earlier or been the one to be a little more flirty at the gallery.
or if you would have told Gary, "Listen, don't flirt with her. Don't take her out cuz I like her," or whatever.
Yeah, if he was just honest, like, I'm the one who's gonna ask her out.
No, it's so true. People, yeah. It happens all the time. Even when like,
Right.
when you're dating and you're like, "I don't want to say that," or "I don't want to reach out," and "I don't want to do this," and "I don't want to do that." You just let it go, and then, like, people stay in their stubbornness, and they never find out what could have been.
Right. Or like if you get into a friend group and then you like just happen to start talking to one guy, because that's like one of the first people you met, and then you meet like the rest of the friend group, and then you get click with another guy more,
Yeah.
but like respectfully, you're not supposed to. But what if you're meant for that person?
No, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's so crazy. Yeah. So clearly, Lila is with Gary. She opens up to Phoebe later saying that she's with Gary because he fit the mold. But when they went on that vacation in Europe, she was bored out of her mind, and they don't really click on a level that she wants.
Right, they're so different. He's more of an intellectual. She likes to go out and do stuff. They're just so different.
They're so different, and his daughter doesn't like her.
Right. Or
His
the
daughter
sister.
His daughter named Juice. His sister was my favorite character. I thought she was so funny.
Oh, I thought she was rude.
But that's what I mean by funny. Like she was so over it. She didn't want to be there. She's like everything's so stupid.
Right.
Everyone has a family member like that. I mean,
Mhm.
it was so relatable. So at the end of the day, they get closer to the wedding. Phoebe and Lila get closer. They Lila's getting cold feet, and boom, Matt, the ex-husband, shows up.
Oh, yeah. Um, I'm so happy they like nothing really happened with that. Like she wasn't like torn. Like she kind of knew like this isn't for me.
But she
And she knew that that was like if she went back that way, the old her would be coming back.
but she did let him sleep over, which upset me.
I mean, whatever. She was probably just like it was just a one night stand. I don't think that's crazy.
Well, it upset me because I'm like, wait, if that guy Gary sees her, even though he's getting married, like it's gonna ruin those chances. So I was like, oh no.
Right. I thought like maybe Gary wouldn't speak his mind because he thinks like she's getting back with the ex or something.
Yeah, so so then the next day she kind of lets Matt know it's not gonna happen. He wants her back. He's gonna wants to leave the wife and the whatever and the girl he had an affair with and the baby, and she's like, not gonna happen. Go back home. So they get closer to the wedding, and Lila. It's interesting because Lila's the one that backs out, not Gary.
Right. I know Gary would have gone through with it, which like
Typical
at that
male.
point like get a backbone. He knows he doesn't want to marry her.
That's a definition of a man.
Right.
They will settle, they will go ahead with it and like just cheat on you or something.
Yeah, I was annoyed because I'm like, eventually one of them has to back out, or both of them. Like maybe they should talk about it. But no, he was going to get married.
Yeah, because he gave her his word and he couldn't like let her down, but like that's not the right thing to do because you
You're
are
letting
letting her
her
down by doing that.
right for the rest of her life.
Yeah, exactly. So I, for a moment, thought they were actually going to get married. I'm like, damn it. But she ends up calling off the wedding, like running away. She disappears. Like she runs away, goes to another like country or something. Jim goes after her or was giving her phone number or something so he can like get in touch with her. So that kind of stays open ended. And then Phoebe decides that she wants to rent a house there and kind of stay there and write or do something different. And then her and Gary kind of stay friendly and just like, oh, we'll stay in touch type of thing. I really like that they didn't end up together because that would be so cliche, like just right away. And that was her friend. So that would have
Right.
been gross.
Right. And he like just got out of a long-term relationship. Like the fact that he took time to himself was good.
It was good. And it was good that she respected both him and her friend and like let it have some time and to breathe and stuff like so it doesn't look like anything weird was happening and it's not healthy.
Right.
So I like how
Also,
yeah,
oh, I was just gonna say also I like the fact that Lila confided in what's the main girl's name?
Phoebe.
In Phoebe. She confided in Phoebe and pretty much said that she didn't want to marry Gary when she was like drunk. And then the next day, Lila like still was gonna go through with the wedding, and Phoebe didn't push her to not go through with the wedding just so Phoebe can have Gary. Like she never once pushed her to not have the wedding.
Well, that's what I mean. Like even like right after she found out who Gary was, she never was shady about it. She just
Right.
like knew her place and that was the situation and that's that. Like it was very yeah, like I like that she just stayed in her lane and didn't try to like manipulate anything or be weird behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was awesome. And so she ends up staying there. Gary says he'll be in touch and they kind of left it open ended. So I feel it's kind of like open for a sequel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because what
Like
happened
I
to
was
Lila? What happened to Phoebe? What happened to everybody?
right. And then I wonder, is it just gonna be about her finding the joy in life?
Yeah. Yeah, no, great. I mean, I think they left it open for whatever, but if they didn't, it's still I still like the ending because it was
It
like,
implies.
huh?
It implies that they probably get back together or get together.
Eventually down the road though, maybe.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it wasn't like she
Well,
was desperate to be with someone, which I liked. She was just like doing her thing.
right. I was gonna say, like, she's not desperate to be with someone, and the fact that Lila was still going to marry Gary and she didn't want to, like, she wasn't gonna get in between that to get the guy because she said in the book, even if this was just so that I can see that I can still feel something, then that's enough for me. And I thought that was cute. Like,
So
even if
cute.
Gary wasn't her guy.
Yeah. And the more of the story is, No matter how bad you're feeling, it's just a moment in time. And if you could just like be strong enough to get past that, like it'll be over. Like you'll feel
Hmm.
differently later.
Right.
But it's also like you got to get out of like when she got divorced, she probably should have moved out of that house because you do have to change your environment, I feel, to kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
get out of that funk
Yep.
for sure. All right. Well, great book. 5 stars. Alison Espach is the author. And our next book that we're going to read now and review, what's the name of it? It's a great summer read for the summer. Do you have it in front of you? No, right?
No.
Do I not have it here? Hold on. Oh, here. Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn, which I don't know who she is, so it's always fun to switch authors. And I haven't picked a book like this that's like super just like summer read, lighthearted, chick lit.
Exciting.
Yeah, so that's our next book. Till Summer Do Us Part, and we'll see you on the next Salty Book Review.
Bye.
Bye.